Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are getting into Love is Blind season 7. We are now on episode 10 and it's called Text from an Ex. Hoo-wee. Coming off the back of the other episode that I did, I don't know how much Larry this show can be. Like, seriously, I really don't know. But anyway, before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button. You know, when I'm on and doing videos, please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. You all know this. You all know this. Okay, so here we go. So Hannah and Nick are having an engagement shoot. I'm like, yeah, those won't age well. Bearing in mind I've not watched the other episodes, but with how these two are, that is not going to age well, because these two ain't going to be together. They sure as hell ain't going to be together. I can see Nick kind of has a wandering eye, to be honest with you, and Hannah is a condescending soul and a control freak. They are not going to happen. They really, I really don't. So those engagement shoots, once they get them done and set up, even if they get them printed off and on canvas, are going to be hidden somewhere. Let's just put it that way. They're going to be hidden somewhere. So you see Maria and Ramses, and Maria is worried that the conversation that they had has got into Ramses' head, basically. And it was about the kids and the timeline. And he says the important things he is thinking about, but won't communicate them with Marissa. You can see that it's kind of awkward between them at this stage. And I'm just like, yeah, this season is a full-on freaking train wreck fest, like, completely. I really and really truly are trying to gather my thoughts on how they've managed to get this caliber of people on this season, like, seriously. So Marissa explains to Ramses what she is currently going through in terms of, like, you know, she's going through PMT, she's going through other things, she's stressed out, she's this, she's that, she's the other, because in essence what the awkwardness is about is she's not feeling in a giving mood. Let's just put it that way. She's not feeling in a giving mood, and Ramses is feeling in a giving mood. She's not feeling that she wants the hugs and the cuddles as well on top of that, because this is where she's at emotionally. My thing is how Ramses is not able to reassure her in that moment. Like, he really isn't able to reassure her in the moment. And this is where the selfishness comes out that I talked about in the last episode with Ramses. He's quite selfish and quite linear in terms of his needs, but then you're not meeting your partner's needs in terms of she's opening up to you as to why she's feeling the way that she is, and you're not necessarily, all you're doing is emotionally beating her around the head because of the fact that your needs of intimacy is not being met. So I know that physical intimacy doesn't always compute to sex, yeah, but reading between the lines, as I said, Marissa was not giving Ramses the kind of intimacy, and he is saying rather clumsily and disrespectfully he doesn't want to force her into anything, but it is 2 weeks before the wedding, yeah, and they've not done anything. Man, come on now. So Marissa asks him, are you having doubts? Their talk is kind of confusing to me, because it seems Ramses is saying he's not having doubts, but he's hung up on the physical intimacy part of their relationship, which definitely now makes me think Marissa has definitely ceased giving him that part of herself for the reasons that she gave. So I'm just like, at the end of the day, it should have been obvious to Ramses why she was feeling in this particular manner on this particular month. Do you know what I mean? But all Ramses can focus on is the sexual aspect. He's coming off selfish to me. Like, he's really coming off selfish to me. He says to Marissa, he's dealing with stuff but doesn't want to be touched, which he says is fine. Obviously, it's not fine. Otherwise, he would not have brought it up. So long term, he's saying he wants to make sure it doesn't look like what he's experiencing right now, that he doesn't have to go through this sort of time. Yeah, this man ain't on a full pegging level field. Like, seriously, he is coming off more and more really selfish, and it's all about his needs, his wants, and what he wants at that time. And even when Marissa is not in the mood and she's explained why, he still don't like it. Although she is affectionate with him, which she said a lot, and he agreed that yes, you are affectionate with me in terms of what she has been giving, Marissa does explain to him again that what are you going to do if we were to have children, because sometimes women get postpartum, they don't want that intimacy. How is he going to cope with that? So in the end of that conversation, it kind of seems that Marissa is totally feeling down at this moment in time, and she is the one that's scared that Ramses won't see it through, because at the moment she's less intimate with him. Ramses says he still wants to marry her, and I've seen, yeah, nah, Ramses is playing some hella disgusting mind games. Like, seriously disgusting mind games. I don't like it. I don't like how he behaved with her in that instant. Like, she is not able to feel low. She is not able to feel that, you know what, I don't need intimacy at this moment in time, but I'm explaining it to you in the hopes that you would understand. And this man was like, yeah, fuck no, we need to work on how this can be bettered in the future. The fuck are you saying? The fuck are you saying? So Alex and Tim meet Tim parents. So they call Tim Drake. And I thought, of all the names to give the man, you had to give him the name Drake. I ain't saying nothing about that. If you know, you know. At the end of the day, that's all I'm going to say. So you can see that Tim's mother is the matriarch of this family. She is the talker. His dad literally sat there and didn't really say much, to be honest with you. He's definitely a watcher. So Tim, aka Drake, gets that trait from his mum. Like, the whole constantly gets that trait from his mum. And his mum talks about where he will separate from his vulnerabilities in situations, and I'm like, yeah, that's where Tim gets it from. That is where he gets it from. Like, when he stepped out in Cabo away from Alex at that moment in time where he needed space, came back but ain't been the fully same since. So we have his mum to thank for Tim disassociating from the situation at hand to deal with issues that arise. You know what? But okay, that's really good to know. Dad, as I said, is a very quiet person. He listens and he hears and he watches. So Alex explains that she's going to take this seriously. Basically, she talks about Tim asking for her father's hand in marriage, and basically she said that if her father did not give the blessing to Tim, aka Drake, she wouldn't have married him at the end of the day. I just don't think these two should get married anyway. They're both on completely different pages. I think Tim and Alex are hella disrespectful towards each other at the end of the day. That's where my mind is. So Drake turns around and says that he kind of needs therapy and think that Alex may need some too. It just seemed to me that Alex had really tried to impress Tim's mother. I would say parents, but as I've already said, the mum is the matriarch of this family. Tim is passive aggressive in what he says and what he does. And right now he was full on quiet too. He weren't really saying much at all because it was mama that was doing all the chatting. But it will only be a matter of time before Alex and Tim have another issue with each other and it will completely go south for them. So mum and dad go outside and talk with Tim basically, and Alex disappears, but I don't know where she's disappearing to. So dad's saying he thinks Alex is nice and that Tim could spend his life with this person. So Tim says Alex is his fiance for a reason, but doesn't think that they are always in sync with each other. And I was just like, okay, I've not seen many moments where they have been in sync with each other, but okay, do you know what I mean? So he says he's not physically affectionate with a partner, but Alex wants that. And if they get into an argument, he's not going to want to cuddle with that person afterwards. And he did a little afterwards, thinking that, you know what, my parents will fall in line and laugh with me. Yeah, no, they didn't. Tim made it all about him, and not what he can offer his partner in that moment at the end of the day, because Alex is only seeking for a cuddle or some type of affection from him if they've had a moment with each other, to say that, you know what, and reassure that everything's okay. But Tim is so literally narrow-minded that he can't see that. He really can't see that. That's the reason why a woman will come to him and say, I need affection from you. Not only that, it's nice to give sometimes, do you know what I mean? A hug can say a multitude of things to some people. So Tim fails to understand that, you know what, to fix an argument with Alex and to reassure her, as I've already said, that everything's okay, she's seeking that cuddle from you. That's what that cuddle means to her, but Tim can't give it. So his mum does tell Tim, I don't know what you are referring to, but they don't, as I said, they don't laugh with him. And that she said Tim needs to be open to what his partner needs if they do get married. Tim says he gets it, but he don't. He really doesn't get it all. If he did, he wouldn't have said the comment that he said previously in regards to he's not affectionate person. He's not going to cuddle someone straight after an argument. So yeah, he don't get that. So, his mum tells him, you will go through some drama, and that is the process of becoming one. I don't think Tim likes this conversation. He needs to hear it to stop thinking of himself alone. But because he is such an selfish character, yeah, that, you know what, it isn't going to work with him. He isn't going to see it, because he's automatically expecting that whoever he chooses and the partner he has will fall into line and into step with him and his communicative ways. This is why he keeps on saying people misunderstand him and his communication, because he doesn't freaking have any. He doesn't know how to communicate with the partner. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't freaking have any. And it's glaringly obvious through these episodes. Let's just say it that way. So you see Ashley and Tyler. Ashley walks into the room and she doesn't even acknowledge Tyler sitting on the chair when she first comes in at all. Kobe is sad because of the fact that he can feel the atmosphere that's going on in his environment, but he's literally stuck in a crate at the moment, so he can't move to either Alex or to Tyler to give some type of comfort. So he's picking up on those vibes. Ashley starts crying, basically, and talking about the situation at hand. So Ashley reassures Tyler that she doesn't hate him. She's disappointed in him. So Ashley's going to want Tyler fully. From this conversation, I can already see where this is going. That Ashley's already on the road to forgiveness with this man. Like, she is literally going to lay this to rest, because as I've already said, nothing is going to break them apart. Nothing is going to stop them from getting to their end goal, and that is to marry each other. That's how I'm seeing it at the end of the day. So Ashley wants Tyler fully, but she wants to learn more about the dynamic that's happening at the moment. So Tyler basically explained that the person who he's had children with was a friend, and her wife wanted children, so he helped them out. I was like, okay, right, let's keep going. So he managed to talk his way out of that whole situation, but I'm saying this man is fully lying to this woman right now. I don't know if at this point or later on she will find out that actually my gal, the woman who he offered his sperm to for the first child, let's just put it right, for the first child, okay, yes, was a good friend. She was with a wife, but then they managed to split up. But for the twins, which he clearly did not mention within this episode that he actually had twins, to be honest with you, that was a full-on sexual relationship. They had a full-on sexual relationship. That weren't sperm donor relationship. He did not explain that to her. So again, lying by omission, just enough for Ashley to forgive him his ways and carry on as they had been going on. Yeah, absolute bullshit. I just don't. Do you know what? This is why I say with with Monica and with Ashley, yeah, they just wanted a man to be able to say, this is the person that I'm going to marry, and to then to be able to go out in the world and say, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband. Not giving a frick what these men do at certain points in time. With Monica, she had no choice but to let that dude go. But with Ashley, she ain't letting that man go. She isn't. So we see Garrett and Taylor go calligraphy writing. So Taylor basically took her grandparents' letters because she wants to incorporate them in her wedding. So they will basically have a letter station writing at their wedding. So they will take quotes from the grandparents' letters and write them basically for the board. Garrett talks about his mum may not come to the wedding, as basically he's saying his mum that he's struggling with the concept. And I'm kind of like, I understand where she's coming from, and I understand that, you know what, you really want to be there and show up and show out for your child regardless. But at the end of the day, you can go through all of that and all of those emotions. But what happens when you get up there and dude could possibly say no to Taylor, and Taylor could possibly say no to him? What happens then? Because all those unwanted and unbidden emotions will start to come to the forefront at the end of the day, because you ain't really want to sit there and see your child being hurt in any way, shape or form. So I do get where his mum is coming from with that concept. So Hannah and Nick are basically doing some adventure park stuff indoors. Hannah basically says that Nick's icks are growing on her, and I was like, okay, all right. Does she not believe that Nick may have some icks about her? But hey ho, we'll not go there right now. So Nick basically is saying that he thinks he's ready to get married in 2 weeks, but is he really? Is he really? Hannah has a long list for Nick, but I'm just kind of like, she has this list for Nick in regards to what it is that she wants from him, but has she reciprocated in kind in terms of what it is that she'll be providing to Nick if they were to get married at the end of the day? So Nick basically in the last days has talked about things that got his goat about Hannah, and it's all around him asking for help and her getting pissed at him. Because, like, he's asking for help because he don't know. I mean, she has to realise it. This man is coming from living with his parents who have done X, Y, and Z for him, who have literally done everything for him. So, again, as I said in my previous episode, they've made a rod for any forthcoming partners back in regards to supporting this man and making him know how to do things, because it's kind of like relearning how to be independent again. There's going to come a time that Nick will figure this shit out. He really does. But what he wants is for Hannah to be a little bit more patient with it. Like, honestly, more patient with it. Because Hannah believes that any man that she's with should be on par with her expectations, but doesn't really listen when they turn around and say, well, you're actually lacking in terms of when it comes to my expectations. Do you know what I mean? In terms of where I believe us to be. She doesn't want to hear that at all. So Nick tells Hannah that he feels like she places him on a level below. I'm like, that's what she does. She does that. We see she does that. Do you know what I mean? So it isn't surprising that Nick is starting to feel that, and it's starting to prick his male ego and pride at the end of the day. And you can see it because there's times where Nick wants to feel top dog at the end of the day, because Hannah has a lot of mouth for everybody else to say, oh, that's my man, I love him, da 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 da. But to his face, she's not like that. She doesn't show that. So how is she expecting Nick to feel at the end of the day? Hannah's not giving him nothing at all. She didn't start from where she first saw Nick in the pot, when Nick was in his element at the end of the day, and she didn't give him no beginnings there. She literally wanted to hang, drawn and quarter that man and literally push him out in the cold for somebody who didn't even deserve her time. So yeah. So Hannah really said to him that she will start treating him like an equal when he begins to contribute like an equal. And I thought, my girl, are you for real right now? Does Hannah realise how shitty that sounds? That it's a disgusting comment to make in my books, because he's not a child at the end of the day. So when Nick tries to do something, she will take over, because she will get overly frustrated with him rather than have that patience with him, as I said. So it's rude of her to speak like that towards Nick at the end of the day. And I would have to say that's my red flag in Hannah, and this is why I don't think these two are going to meet. These two are not going to get on, and these two should have no business getting married, especially with how Hannah is with him at the end of the day. She says that she doesn't mean to make him feel like that, but at 28 she believes he should know how to do things, so it frustrates her. I thought that's a piss poor explanation and excuse, because at the end of the day, being mean to him ain't gonna help. Just because he's 28 years old, there's some 30-odd-year-old people that don't know how to do shit, yeah? But you support and help them to a point that you can get them to. If you supported and helped that person to get them to that point and they still don't know how to do shit, then you have a right to be fucking frustrated with that person. But until then, yeah, you picked the man. Yeah, you knew exactly what he was like from the pods to now the honeymoon to starting to live with him, and then now you're having a moan. Yeah, so you see on Nick's face that he don't really like Hannah. He really don't. He probably thinks himself in love with her, but I really don't think he is. Hannah just she just puts him down a lot. Like, seriously puts him down a lot, and it doesn't make for a happy marriage to me in the slightest at the end of the day. So Hannah believes that she's the mature one and is ready for marriage. But I honestly, again, same with Nick, I don't think she is, to be fair, because she keeps on saying it's her way or the highway. That's not how a marriage works. That's not how a marriage works. And I'm telling you, if they did get married, they'll be finding the quickest path to the divorce court without passing go, without collecting $200. I'm telling you that way. So you see Marissa and Ramses, and Marissa is wedding planning. So Marissa basically wants a boho wedding. She wants her mother, she wants Ramses to do the mother and son dance, but Marissa is not going to dance with her mum, and that says a lot because her mum ain't going to be involved with that aspect of her wedding, I don't think. Marissa is like, Marissa's mum is kind of like, I birthed ya, I got you to where you are. You should listen to me as I continue to infiltrate within your life like a barnacle at the end of the day. That's where Marissa's mum is. So sometimes I think Marissa can be a little bit immature and is in love with the idea of marriage. And Ramses is definitely selfish, and this is going to be the sticking point for both of them. So Marissa is back to her happy self, and Ramses is happy because now they know once per month, yeah, around the time of her monthly, that this is how she will be in regards to intimacy. So now Ramses has no doubts. Magically, all those doubts have now disappeared. I don't see them two getting married either. I really don't. This whole cast is a train wreck, and I'm going to keep saying it. Like, the whole cast is a train wreck, and some of these people are going to have to surprise me on the fucking wedding day if they say yes to each other. Like, seriously. So we see Alex and Tim, and they seem at odds with each other, and I was like, okay, what's happened now? So apparently something happened with Tim's parents that Tim didn't appreciate, and even Alex looks perplexed by what the fuck is going on now. So apparently Alex was tired from the whole day, and Tim is moaning that his parents drove 10 hours to meet Alex, to which they did. They had a talk with her too. We all saw Alex talking to his parents and spending that time with them. And then Tim and his parents went outside to talk. So Alex, it seemed, decided to take a nap as soon as the cameras cut. Now Tim has a problem with that. And I was like, she went to sleep. What did you want her to do? Because Tim was already aware that she was literally exhausted and knew that sleep wouldn't be very far behind. He knew this. So what else did he want her to do? Because she was present for his parents. She wasn't rude to his parents. She had conversations with his parents. So what more was she supposed to do? So Tim is judging Alex by his own standards, basically, in terms of what he would have done. And you can't do that to people, because everybody's an individual, not a monolith. We don't all think the same. So Alex would have acted different in a certain situation to what Tim would have acted. So for him to judge what he would have done in the terms of what Alex should have done is beyond pair, to be honest with you. So Alex tells him that she was exhausted and that they had already talked for hours about it to Tim prior to that. I mean, if Tim as again was aware that Alex was tired. I don't understand why he's so mad. When she did make time with his parents, she wasn't rude at all. So Tim goes off, always shutting Alex down when she's trying to explain things, that she was only asleep for an hour. And this man is really arguing about someone sleeping. So there is something wrong with Tim, because he's causing a ruckus over sleep, like seriously causing a whole issue over sleep, and the fact that Alex was not responsive in his eyes. And here comes the always passive aggressive bullshit that Tim continues to show to Alex. Here it goes. Tim was hella rude to Alex, and I'm confused with Tim's issues and explanations, just as Alex is, to be honest with you. This man don't want Alex. He doesn't want her. And I don't think he's wanted her for a long time. He's just been looking for any little inch that he could have to literally break this relationship down, but make it Alex's fault. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to make sure that he took himself of this situation with no fault falling on his shoulders at the end of the day. So Alex didn't want to talk to him at that point in time. Like, she was at work, they were texting each other, and he texted her something and she didn't think she had to respond, but she responded to the other one. So she admitted, okay, maybe I should have responded to that one, but she was at work. So he basically turned around and said that when she finished work and she decided that she wanted to talk to him, he was not going to talk to her because she was not going to dictate when they should talk. What kind of bullshit is that? Like, seriously, what kind of bullshit is that? Tim is petty as hell. He didn't deserve Alex. At this point, he didn't deserve her at all, because this poor woman couldn't even eat her meal first before he started in on her. So Alex was right in the fact that if Tim does not communicate with her in regards to how he felt when she didn't respond to his text the second time, and that it irked him, he should have said something. She's not a freaking mind reader at the end of the day, is what she said. So she said she took a nap when he called her, and that's why she could not answer the phone, because she was actually sleeping. So when she woke up, she called him straight back, only to be given that bullshit. Only to be given that bullshit because this man was mad because she didn't respond to a text. So Alex is sitting there literally having to explain her actions. I thought at that point I would have just done the conversation there. I would have done the conversation there, because as Alex was talking, you could see that Tim really didn't give a shit. You could see he didn't give a shit by what the frick she was saying at all. So when he turns around and he talks about how his what is it? His love language is communication and da-da-da-da-da. And when before he went into the pods, he was talking about how people have regularly misunderstood him in terms of the way he communicates. You don't fucking communicate at all. You expect your person to be a freaking mind reader, to go oh, he wants me to call him, oh, I need to text him back, if I don't, it's gonna irk him. What the fuck is it? I just, oh God, that's what I can say. Oh God. So basically Alex is saying that when I called you, you dismissed me off the phone. So Alex ended up crying. Do you think Tim gave a shit about her tears? No, he did not. You could see it on his face. There was no reaction from him. There was no reassurance from him, because he thinks that he is in the right. So Alex basically said that things had changed between them since they've been in the pods, and it's not been the same. And she attributes that to both of them. So she puts blame on both of them, not just him, not just her, but both. But things were never right from their first fallout with Tim. Yeah, because he expects Alex to fall into whatever he says she must be. That's what he expects. So this is why I say people really need to think about the promises that they make to these people's parents, because he turned around and asked for her father's blessing in the hand in marriage. And if you are not on good ground, then you should never have done that, because you have no business asking that parent for that person's hand in marriage if you want in even rockier ground, because you ain't gonna be able to work your shit out enough. Alex and Tim didn't even making it to the altar, and you can see this from now. They're not going to make it to the altar. So this man sat there and dumped Alex. And he dumped Alex because she wouldn't answer a text and she was asleep. That was bullshit all round. He wanted to dump Alex from time. He wanted to dump Alex from the first time that they had a situation with each other. So Alex is trying to speak to him, and so now Tim decides that he would listen to her. And she basically said that she wants him to listen to her to move forward. He's just saying, I am willing to listen to you to understand. I said, fuck that shit right there. Don't bother. Just go. Get your stuff. Go. Get out. We don't need to talk again. That's what I would have said. You could see that she was hurt. But ultimately, I think Tim wanted to see Alex beg to keep him, and Alex was not going to do that. Alex needs to know her worth, and Tim is not worth it at all. So Tim said basically that his mind is made up. It's no use talking now. Now Tim wants a pat on the back for what he supposedly did for her family. So Tim says, maybe I didn't communicate what I was feeling, but in the next breath says he shouldn't have to communicate that. I thought, what kind of demon time is this man on right now? Like, Tim is not hearing himself like at all in regards to the shit that he's saying to this girl. So he was looking for a way, as I've already said, with Alex, to end it with Alex. This was just an excuse. And Alex should see this as a lucky escape at the end of the day. So we all know why Tim is now single. Why people misunderstand him, because he's a bag of shit. So he really turned to her and said, I don't ever want to see you again. And then said, this was nice, wishes her best of luck, and walked out. I thought, what in the bullshit? I'm glad Alex didn't even respond to him. Alex just sat quietly on her phone, let him go and do what he needed to do, and then get out of the situation. Because I thought, what the fuck could you say to that? Like, seriously, he is nasty. This was over a text. In her response, no response to it, and sleeping. So they're all getting ready to dress up for a party. You see Hannah and Nick is already thinking that some people will be coming because they want closure. So they must know that the other groups from the pods will be coming too. So I'm like, closure with what, Nick? Closure with what? So Nick decides to tell Hannah about Katie. So from his perspective, as we didn't see what he was talking about, because I didn't see what he was talking about, that him and Katie did match up in the pods, and then Katie kind of disappeared. So now Hannah, now thinking back to what Katie and Ashley W were saying to her about Nick, and I'm just like, this don't add up. It don't add up. I don't understand how they actually officially connected in this pod, bearing in mind what she said to Hannah in regards to Nick and him being a possible player. So Nick basically says that he wants a simple conversation with Katie. Hannah is basically saying she don't need no disclosures from nobody because she made a decision. And Nick says, well, I did too make a decision. And I was like, really, Nick? Really? Because the way that Nick's talking is like, you know, he really wants to see who this Katie is that blew him over. He really wants to know what happened. So Taylor wanted to make it clear to Garrett before they get to the party that if anyone from his past wants to talk to him, he's making it clear that he shuts that down. And I thought, why the fucking hell was this talk needed? What did you do, Garrett? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do? So she said, leave them on red, don't like it. So it looks like Garrett got a message from his ex, hence the title. And I was like, Garrett, have we not learned from the episodes past when someone liked a picture or something on Instagram or liked the message that they sent, it shows an interest? And it always makes me wonder why these girls like to come out of the woodwork now, yeah, to chat when you had a chance when you were with that person. Now they've moved on. Now they're making strides with someone else, but now you come out of the woodwork to try and what? What do you want to try and do? So they talked about it before they went into the party. Garrett was basically reassuring Taylor as much as he can, but they had not been able to talk about it all day, basically. Taylor is pissed. And Garrett said, I missed something today, and he just needed from her is patience and understanding with this. So he did tell her right away, which is good. He was honest with it, that, you know, he got this text from his ex and all he did was like it. That's what he said. All he did was like it. He didn't say anything about replying back. Yeah, so Tim attends the party on his own, and I'm like, why are you still here? That man has no shame at all. Like, he's so full of himself, and no one that I saw was questioning, well, where's Alex and why is he come alone? So Alex then walks in after him and she's come alone. So Alex just tells the girls what happened, but it looks like they already know. So Tyler asks Alex, are you gonna have a talk with Tim? And she's like, hell no, for what? And I'm like, it's true. What's been said has been said at the end of the day. If he wants anything else, he's the one that's gonna have to make the move and step up and talk to Alex at the end of the day. So now Ashley says, I hope that, like, you know, they are not talking about my shit. And of course, because they're talking about something else that's off her, she has to then bring her issue to the forefront, and she ends up telling the girls. All the girls were like, oh, what do you mean your shit? So she ends up telling the girls that, you know what, Tyler's got 3 kids. And she tells them about the sperm donation. But what she does not know is the first one, yeah, sperm donation. But the twins, no, he literally had a sexual relationship with this woman, and she's literally been on, you know, online telling people about the situation that they found themselves in. So again, Tyler is a massive liar, and Ashley's going to find out the truth, and it's going to come whap bap slap her in the face. But I think it's going to be too late by then, because I'm telling you, this woman ain't going to stop at nothing to get this wedding ring on her finger with this man. Now, I'm telling you, like, I ain't seen the rest of the other episodes. I ain't even got to the weddings. This is my gut feeling that this woman is going to say yes to this man. I'm going to say that's all on her. That's all on her at that point. So in comes Monica. So she's basically saying that she spoke to Stephen on the phone and they are in a good place. She's saying there's no excuse for what he did, but he's a good person. Because he said, because you know that he fucked up. And I'm like, but he fucked up before. What she said, what Monica said don't make no sense to me at all. He fucked up before. How can you tell me that he is a good person when he did the shit that he did to you? But hey ho, we shall continue. We shall continue. So Bowden comes in, and Marissa is on 10 right now because she realised who he is. She keeps seeking him out with her eyes, and then in comes Katie. And Nick was looking at Hannah. So Hannah takes Katie to meet Nick, and I thought, bad move. Absolutely bad move. But she needs to know what she's working with here as Nick's loyalty to Hannah. Katie don't have no loyalty. Each time, yeah, Katie keeps on talking about how cute Nick is and how better looking he is in person. And I was like, yeah, Hannah, you need to watch that one right there. But I don't think Katie is above taking a man if they are willing to go. Let's just put it that way. So from how you see Garrett and Ashley and Tyler and Taylor sitting at the table, and Garrett is talking about the text situation. This man lets it slip as he's comfortable talking to his boy, you know, because I think he forgets that Tyler's sitting there listening to his rotted ass. Yeah, lets it slip that he messaged this girl back. Tyler is full on taken aback. So Tyler started to call Garrett out, and he asked for his phone so she can see what he said. To be fair, Garrett changed that story with a quickness. So Garrett said his phone was somewhere else and he can get it later. You can tell that what he said was totally discombobulated Tyler all over the place. Her head was spun. So basically Garrett said he did text his ex back and said, hey, I have met someone, we are engaged, and I don't think we should continue sending messages. First point, continue sending messages. So how long have these two people been chatting? Yeah, because it sounds like they were chatting before he even got with Taylor. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't read the withdrawal from Taylor physically because he lied to her face just before they went in. So the other two, Ashley and Tyler, said, you know what, we maybe need to move away from this conversation and let them have that conversation to themselves when she did. So basically, Tyler called him out on what he said to her and the impression that he gave her, which is her right to do at the end of the day. So Garrett said, yes, I wrote a response. But Garrett, you didn't tell Taylor. You lied to her face and said that you just liked the message. So when he's sitting there with his boys, he was just chatty. And the truth slipped out. Truth slipped out completely. That truth could not be held in. It needed to come out, so it did. So Taylor ends up leaving the table because she wanted a moment and left Garrett at the table with Tyler at that point, and Ashley went with her. So Ashley basically said to Taylor and gave her that reassurance that, yeah, you're right, admitting is a lie. But I'm like, your man's admitted stuff to you, so he lied to you point blank, but you still accepted those lies of his. But okay, we should continue. Ashley told Taylor that she believed that Garrett forgot where he was, and I'm like, that's true. That is true. At the end of the day, Taylor's going to need time to digest the situation, to have those conversations with Garrett, to see if she can get back on the ground that she was with him on. Because right now, it's a little bit shaky, because what Garrett seems to not recognize is that Tyler was cheated on before. So all of these feelings, these emotions are going to rear its ugly head all over again. So all I'm going to say is loose lips sink ships. That's all I'm going to say. So if Garrett wants to fix the shit that he just caused with Taylor, he's going to have to be honest with her and validate her feelings and reassure her at the same time. So Maurissa, Ramses and Bolden have a conversation with each other, and you can see that Maurissa and Bolden are literally talking over Ramses. So Ramses kind of moves out of the way to the side so them two can have a talk. So Maurissa basically sees Bolden as a friend. She doesn't see anything more than that. It's kind of like the same in the pods in regards to why she chose Ramses at the end of the day. She didn't see anything more going on with Bolden, which is good. All I'm going to say is Katie is one to watch. She keeps keeps going on about how cute Nick is. Hannah isn't thinking none of it at this moment. I'm telling you that some drama is going to start over this girl. Like, seriously, the way in which how things are going on, some drama is going to start over this girl. So Hannah thinks that there's so many things that she could show Nick. All I'm saying is Hannah has these illusions of grandeur, because it always works that a woman will believe she's building a man into what she believes she's building them into for herself. But I'm like, nah, my love, you are just making these platformic changes with this man until the next woman comes along and reaps the benefits of what you have just done. So if Hannah thinks she's going to have this lifelong longevity with Nick, I don't see it happening at this moment in time. So everyone always seems to take the piss about Nick. I don't really like their attitude towards him, but Hannah doesn't pull them to task to say, do you know what, please don't talk about him like that or anything like that. She literally jumps into the melee and literally criticizes this man, like completely criticizes this man. So I just think it is bad that Nick has kind of like preferably become the underdog of everyone's story, including Hannah's. So Hannah is talking to Ashley, and I think she gives a little bit too information on the lack of Nick's sexual prowess and past partners. And she knows how hard it is for him to speak about sex. So for her to do this in this context with cameras on her, she could potentially know that she's being overheard and listened to is completely wrong. In my world, like completely wrong. It should have been between her and Nick, this conversation, but no, she let that out of the bag. So Hannah is saying Nick doesn't pleasure her, but he would do what he needs to do to get himself off. And I'm just like, okay then, if that's the case, why are you with him? Why are you still with him? If you're saying he's not meeting your basic needs, why are you still with the man? Instead of sitting there complaining on broadback TV to everybody else, to make that man feel foolish and embarrassed, especially if they show this at the reunion, why are you still with the man? Why are you chatting about your business like this? Like, seriously? She says she loves him, but she don't at the end of the day. She decided to stay to become Nick's teacher. Because if he ain't doing it right by now, it's time to say, you tried. Like, you tried. Because obviously he's doing something, because she keeps having sex with him. So he must be doing something right. So she talks about how Nick don't like to eat a Kit Kat. He don't like to get down. But some men don't like that. It's not their penchant. Some men don't love it. Some men love it. Do you know what I mean? I ain't sticking up for Nick in any sense of the world and not being able to pleasure his soon-to-be wife. But then again, I would say, why are you still here, Hannah? Why are you still here? If it's lacking in the bedroom department, why are you here? I don't get why this chat is happening at this table. Full front in front of other women, and one in particular being Katie. I couldn't bag nobody like that. If I was talking privately with a close friend of mine, yeah, about this situation, it wouldn't be in a public space like that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. So Hannah seems to forget that these people ain't really her friends. And as I said, if this segment is shown, Nick is going to be hella embarrassed by it, especially if he marries the woman. Hannah has a big mouth. Like, she seriously has a big knife. So even though Hannah says to Ashley, like, you have to be careful on how you communicate with men around sexual problems and list the embarrassment and pressure it can place on them, what does she think that this is going to do to Nick? Because you've literally put it in the public eye that Nick is literally seriously lacking in the bedroom department. Hannah's trash for that. To be fair, in my sense, Hannah is trash for that. She should have spoken about it privately if she really wanted to talk to a friend, not in that scenario and not at a public event at the end of the day. So Katie seeks Nick out to have a chat. I was like, okay. So Hannah sees them talking, and she basically says that Katie is lighting up as she's speaking to Nick, and she's wondering, are you really my friend? I was like, if you don't trust her, why do you introduce her to your man for? Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, Katie don't owe Hannah no loyalty. At the end of the day, it's Nick that owes Hannah the loyalty, and any flirty business is down to Nick to shut that shit down completely, to let Katie know that there's no inroad here for you. No inroad here for you, because if I felt that this girl was lighting up in my man's presence, yeah, and be chatty, laughy, I'd have been walking my ass over there. I would have been walking my ass over there. I'm sorry. I will leave it enough time for my man to shut that shit down. If I ain't seeing no shut down shit from that, I'm walking my ass over there to see what's up. That's all I'm gonna say. So Katie wanted to apologise to Nick for stereotyping him. So Nick says basically that he was really feeling her in the pods. I was like, Nick, really? Did you really have to start your conversation with that? So Nick ain't too flirty right now, but the chatter, as again, don't fill me with comfort at the end of the day. I think they're both straying into territory that they shouldn't stray into when it comes to this type of talk. So now Nick says, I was attracted to you from day one, and Katie was always in his mind. I was like, how much of a double dastardly liar do you have to be? Because at the end of the day, from what we saw, it was Hannah that was constantly in his mind. He said he wanted Hannah from the get-go. He didn't mention Katie in any way, shape or form. So I don't know what kind of game he's playing right now, but okay. So Katie says, well, you gave me goosebumps. Warning signs. Shouldn't be having this chat. Shouldn't be having this chat, especially when you're seeing another woman as your fiance and your potential wife. Shouldn't be having this chat. He gives her a compliment and says she will make someone as happy as fuck one day. I was like, Nick, you should have shut that shit down, because I have a feeling that if it doesn't work out between Hannah and Nick, the next person that Nick will probably gravitate to will be Katie, because at the end of the day, he's seen her now. He's had this conversation with her. He's already said that she will make someone as happy as fuck one day. And I think Nick is probably thinking that person will be him. That's how I'm saying it. And all I'm going to say is Hannah can't get you, man, because he's playing up. At the end of the day, he's playing up. So Nick turned around and said that he was feeling Katie and she was feeling him, but she dropped him because of what she perceived to be his lack of maturity levels, basically. At the end of the day, Nick is as I said, he's like a Peter Pan. He really is. He is a child in a man's body at the end of the day. He hasn't got to that level of independence that you would want to see in a man, basically, and he needs to get to that level in order to be able to be of substance to somebody else, is what I'm saying. So basically, when he's talking to Kate, he literally does open up, and he's quite deep. You see that Nick is quite deep in that sense. So Katie did tell him that he needs to lead with that, because what he does, he leads with his charm and charisma when he should lead with his deepness. And I was like, okay. I was taken a little bit aback because Katie at the end did let him know honestly what he needs to do. But then you see the camera cut and you see Hannah getting more and more pissed as the situation is going on, in the fact that Nick is still sitting there talking to Katie. So Taylor is basically livid at this point. Garrett is basically saying that he didn't lie, and I'm like, my guy, you lied. You lied by omission, by the fact that you led Taylor to believe that you'd only liked the ex's text. You didn't tell her you text the girl back when you should have said that, so she wouldn't have been blindsided by the situation. So Taylor pulled him on it, and Garrett thinks that there's no difference. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. I mean, it's not semantics, Garrett. You lied to Taylor at the end of the day and said you hit like, and you had a whole conversation with this girl. And even down to when he was explaining it, it seems as though he'd been texting this girl back and forth already anyway, previously, beforehand, from the terminology that he used. So basically, it was too much for Taylor at this point in time. And she said, if we don't go to see my parents tomorrow, there'll be no doing this at all between the both of them. Garrett basically says that she will need to do what she believes is right, but he will be crushed if things didn't move forward between them. And he gets where Taylor is coming from. I personally believe that Taylor needs time to decompress and process the whole situation that's happened, because at the end of the day, Garrett's just literally pulled the rug out from under her and throwing her off kilter. So she went back to those feelings she probably had when she was cheated on before, because you know what, as they say, trauma-led response at the end of the day. And that's what Garrett did. Garrett triggered Taylor into a response, and he needs to kind of understand that. So this is where that episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know when I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do all good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.